What's going on, Bulls fans? Y'all know what time it is. It's game day as Chicago Bulls take on the Milwaukee Bucks at home today. We're going to talk about it all and more, but you know what we got to do first.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bulls Central, hosted by Haize, your number one spot for all things Chicago Bulls.
What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. I'm the host, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Bulls Central Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. I am joined by my big brother, Big Kev, is in the building. What's going on, brother?
Yo, what's the word?
Hey, bro, I'm just ready to watch some Bulls basketball, bro. That's all I can say there, man.
It's exciting. We're getting closer and closer to the season, bro.
Yeah, I know, bro. We are, 10 days away from regular season basketball, October 22nd. So we got 3 more preseason games to get through over that time. But then we get to the regular season and see exactly what these Bulls are going to be. But with that, we haven't talked a lot about the Bulls, me and you, outside when you pop up on the live calls. How have you felt about the Bulls' first 2 preseason games?
I mean, it's preseason, so I kind of take most things with a grain of salt. But I do like some of the things that Coach Donovan has said as far as them being more aggressive defensively, as far as them running a couple of bigs out there to see how they're going to do. I've enjoyed seeing it. I haven't enjoyed the turnovers too much. Jalen Smith hasn't impressed me too much either. But overall, you got to take the 2 wins and appreciate the fact that they're ironing out the kinks without losing basketball games.
That's true. They are definitely working that out. And the thing with the Bulls, I think, too, is that they are legitimately trying to make changes this season to how they play. Like that is it wasn't just words or anything. They're legitimately trying to make changes, and so because of that, you're seeing some things that are a little rough around the edges. Some things that they are, I think, doing a pretty solid job at working around, which is really good. I do like the extra defensive effort that we see. I think that's been legit. I know that there were some questions on if it was just words from Billy Donovan or was it something that was gonna be real. And so far, it looks like the added physicality, the added defense, it's been real so far. We still got some things we need to tighten up, some things I'm not as happy with, but it's been more good than bad, I think, for sure.
Yeah, they had less turnovers in the second game than they did in the first game. It was 26 turnovers in game 1, only 19 in game 2. Ayo has been the most consistent player for the Chicago Bulls in the 2 games that they've played. You gotta love to see that, right? Because he's coming back from injury, and we missed him last season. Patrick Williams was really good in the first game, not too good in the second game. So it's like, will we get a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde? I would appreciate a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde approach from Patrick Williams this year. At least we know we'll get something on some nights as opposed to nothing on most nights. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you on that. I feel you coming from there. Yeah, I mean, Patrick Williams is always the interesting case because it's like, and I know people don't like hearing this still when it comes to P. Will, and I understand it, but like, there's still so much potential in who P. Will could be as a player. Like, he still has that. Like, I've even reached the point where I'm not betting on that anymore. Like, I'm past the point of thinking, expecting, or hoping that that's going to happen. But I'm not going to act like it's not a chance of him still turning into something. I think his role right now is a lot more straightforward. Like, his role at this point now is to just play basketball, be that defender coming off the bench is really all you're looking at him to do. And I mean, he did a solid job at it in game 1. Game 2, not as, it seemed like he went a little bit more back to passive P. But again, if you're going to be the 10th guy off the bench, you can give me 8 and 9 in solid defense. That's really all you're looking for from a 10th guy.
Yeah, I mean, and frankly, as much as I like DT, I don't think Dalen Terry is going to be stealing too many minutes from Patrick Williams. Like, the coaching staff, if they look down the bench and it's between Dalen Terry and Patrick Williams, at least right now, they're going to go with Patrick Williams. Now, Dalen Terry got all the opportunities right now to snatch minutes throughout the season, but I still feel like maybe right now Patrick Williams still has the edge over Dalen Terry.
No, I get that, and I think he does have, like you said, the key word that you said, the edge over, and he probably does. Like, P. Will can still guard more positions. He's still the better offensive player, even though Dalen shot the ball pretty well last year on small sample size. But I do think like that's what this preseason is for. And when you look at how Billy Donovan has managed the minutes, and the first game, P. Will was the 11th guy to check into the bench. He was the 7th guy in the second game. Dalen Terry, got off the bench before him last game. He got off to him afterwards. So I do think Billy Donovan is using this preseason to really see, all right, who really wants this 10th man spot? Jalen Smith still in the running for that. Julian's out this game, as is Kevin Huerter. So we're not going to get a chance to see those guys. But I think as we get to the last 2 games, we're going to kind of see what that rotation is actually going to look like for Billy Donovan.
Yeah, and Jalen Smith got work to do. In the first game, I think he was like 0 for 6 from 3 or something like that. And that's not what we need from him. Like, I know that it's a stretch big generation, but we don't need him taking 6, 7 threes off the bench. It just doesn't make sense.
Hey, Kev, sorry, my Dukes is calling me. Take over the show for a second. I got to answer.
Okay, for sure. When mom calls, you got to answer the phone. It is what it is, man. But yeah, as far as Jalen Smith is concerned, he got work to do. The second game was a little bit better than the first one, in which he had 8 points, 3 for 6 from the field, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, and 2 blocks in 18 minutes. And that was because there was no Vooch. Now, Zach Collins looked really good at the center position as well in 23 minutes. He gave the Chicago Bulls 5 for 7, 2 for 3 from 3, and 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal. But like, Jalen Smith has yet to impress me as a Chicago Bull. Like, a couple of bright spots last season where he stepped up and was efficient. But I need my big men to be efficient. Like, I don't want to see all 3 of our big men out there taking, if let's say they do have a 3 big rotation this year, and between Vucevic, Collins, and Smith, I don't want to see them taking 12, 13 threes combined. And Smith takes a lot of them. So he's going to have to change some things up. But as far as the rest of the squad is concerned, everybody should be excited to see Yuki, man. That's my dude right there. And I have an unhealthy appreciation for him because I know that he's not going to make the roster. He's going to be a Windy City Bull, and he's going to make me watch Windy City Bull games this season with regularity. In 7 minutes last game, Yuki came off the bench in 7 minutes and gave the Chicago Bulls 7. Let's see, how many points did he have? He had 3 points, but he had 1 steal, 3 assists, and 5 rebounds. That dude is 4'11" out there grabbing rebounds, and he's exciting to watch in the pick and roll. He's looking for the cutter in any way, shape, or form. He's going to get the ball into the hands of whoever is going to the basket. Gotta love what we're seeing from Yuki. All right, so tonight the Chicago Bulls are taking on, I think they're taking on the Utah Jazz. Hold on, let me get to the right. They're taking on the Milwaukee Bucks. So Chicago Bulls taking on the Milwaukee Bucks. We already know it is. That's a rivalry in a sense. Right now, Yuki's a game time decision. Phillips is out. Huerter is out, and I'm assuming that Kobe White is out as well. Kyle Kuzma's a game time decision for Milwaukee. This is a tune-up game, another tune-up game for the Chicago Bulls. They got 2 more games after this before the season starts, and it should be a fun one. For whatever reason, the Bulls always play the Milwaukee Bucks tough, whether it's the regular season or the preseason. So we'll get into some of the comments in a second. I wonder if Giannis going to even make it through the season in Milwaukee. That'd be interesting to pay attention to as well. DJ Reese B said we actually got a pretty good preseason this year to work out kinks and get some in-season planning, and that's really good for the Chicago Bulls, man. They got to get their in-season planning. What up, Jimbo? Maddie, we see you guys. Jack in the game, we see you. Jimmy Moss. I like the center spot with Vucevic, 17 and 11, and our starting center and Zach coming off the bench with 10 and 6. That's very, very doable. What offensive scheme do you think we could add? The coach already mentioned that he wants to see a double big lineup out there, but I expect the Chicago Bulls to be another fast-paced year for them, shooting more threes than years prior. This year, they're going to bring it. Last year, they started off shooting 50 threes a game. I don't see it being like that. But this season, I do expect them to shoot a lot of good threes and be in the top 10 in offensive efficiency. We'll see how they do with Josh Giddey leading the way. What up, Producer Hack? I see you, my guy. Jack in the game. I see you. How you guys doing? Shylanta, I see you. Yes, more physical play is good for the team. Yes. Can P. Will stay aggressive? Absolutely not. We already know who he is by now. I don't know if Vucevic is playing today. Do y'all see the Bulls keeping Ayo Dosunmu and Kobe White for years to come? Kobe is going to be here for at least the next couple of years. He signed, well, he's not in a contract year, I don't believe. Hopefully, Ayo is going to be here as well. I would like to see them continue to develop these guys and allow them to become, a nice little 1-2 punch for the Chicago Bulls. But you just never know with the NBA. Dalen Terry can knock down the three more consistently. If he can, then they will choose him over P. Will. I'm not so sure about that because he got to get the actual minutes to do it. That's the issue with Dalen Terry, is that his minutes are always spot minutes. He's never had like a consistent role in this on the Chicago Bulls roster. Talking about Dalen Terry, if he can hit the three a little bit more consistently, he'll overtake P. Will.
I mean, I could see what he means there. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I'll look it up real quick. Dalen shot the three at almost 36%, I think, last season. Like, It's just low volume. If he can keep that up, because that's for a three-point percentage, that's pretty damn solid. If you can keep 35.6%. So if he can get that up to 36, 37%, I mean, I think it's going to be matchup dependent because, like, while P. Will can switch on a lot of players, Dalen is, like, we saw Dalen guard Trae Young in the game last season when I was out, and Dalen was giving him that work. So, like, I do think, like, it's going to be some situations where Dalen's going to make more sense than putting P. Will out there, even though their best attribute is both still defensively. And that's not a bad place to be in. Like, you're going to have to bring it consistently if you want to pass somebody up. So, we'll see. I mean, I'm not completely counting him out. I'm not counting Dalen out completely, but it's going to be an uphill battle for him.
You know how I feel about Dalen Terry. That's my dude right there. I think he has all of the intangibles to be a solid role player in this league. And I do feel like if it doesn't work out with the Chicago Bulls, he's going to go somewhere else and catch on to one of these teams.
I mean, Dalen was so raw and young when we drafted him. He's a restricted free agent at the end of the season. If the Bulls decide not to keep him, I would not be surprised if 2 or 3 years we're looking and we're like, hey, Dalen really developed for that other team, didn't he? Like, I wouldn't be surprised if that ends up being the case around Dalen. Because he does want it. Say what you will about Dalen, but Dalen does want to be really good, and he wants to guard players. He doesn't want to back down. And I think that mentality is something that if he is going to turn it around and make an NBA career out of it, he has the right mentality for it at least.
Oh, yeah. I'm excited to see it. You know how we are. We pay attention to our guys, whether they play for the Bulls or not.
Yeah. Yeah, it is what it is, man. It's become part of Bulls culture to notice guys that were on our team to go and blossom somewhere else. That's just part of the Bulls experience.
Chicago sports culture. I'm looking at Andrew Vaughn be one of the reasons that the Milwaukee Brewers are playing for the NL championship, bro. And he did nothing for the Chicago White Sox. Bro. I'm talking about nothing.
Bro. DJJ, hell, Chris Dunn is one of the better defenders on that Clippers team, an important player for that team. He had a big year last year, so it's just part of the experience.
I even saw Reddy Stewart get some big tackles today for Dallas.
They should have never let Reddy Stewart.
I wanted him on the team so bad with a name like that.
Especially they let him go, and then we've had nothing but injuries in the secondary since we let him go, bro. Like it's unfortunate, man. It's real unfortunate. When you look at this game against the Bucks and based off things that you saw in the first 2 games, what are some things you want to see them change? What are some things you want to see them just keep the same but maybe get better at?
I mean, it's the same for me. When this comes down to the preseason, I'm always looking at, first and foremost, turnovers. Can you play clean basketball? We had 26 in the first game, 19 in the second game. Can we get it to 15 or less in this third game, to where because you're giving away possessions, you're giving teams opportunities to get into the fast break when you turn the ball over. And I don't care how good of a team you are, you don't want to allow the other team to have a 3-on-1, 4-on-2 fast breaks because you're being lackluster with the basketball. Secondarily, I want to see if our starting backcourt can play consistently well as well. Like, Josh Giddey has been playing okay, typical Josh Giddey basketball, right? Filling up the stat sheets. But I do want to see him do well, and Matas Buzelis. He had a monster first game, kind of came down to earth a little bit in the second game.
Yeah. Matas didn't have, and I talked about that today on my daily. Like, the Cavs, you could tell that they were trying to keep the ball out of his hands.
Now you muted. You muted. You back? Yeah, there you go. I still can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
There you go.
All right. But yeah, for Modest, it's like the Cavs definitely changed how they guarded him. They try to keep the ball out of his hands, but that's going to be part of his growth. Like, I mean, he's gonna have to deal with that because part of becoming a player now that teams are recognizing is a major part of this team. He's still not the main piece, right, on offense, but he is a major part of this team. They're going to try to keep the ball out of his hands because that's the way to keep, like, with Modest growing as a dribbler, growing as a shooter, all those type of things. The only way that you can really stop somebody like Modest is just try to keep the ball out of his hands. And go ahead.
The good thing is with Modest is that people are expecting like year 3, year 4 growth from a year 2. Like I've yet to really see a Chicago Bulls rookie that feels like he's been here longer than he has. Like Modest feel like he's been here 3 or 4 years already, and he's going into year 2. That's crazy. What up, Steve-O?
Yeah. What's good?
How you feeling about this game, Steve?
I'm just eager to see the learning process of all these people because that's all it is everybody just gonna be learning together. This is a hold
on. First of all, that's a terrible ass joke. First of all, you named after a goddamn fish woman. Shut the fuck up.
Fish woman is. I've never heard a fish woman. I've never heard a mermaid referred to as a
mermaid. Didn't sound as good. He didn't sound as good as the joke. The joke sounds better when you say fish woman.
Yeah. Tilapia female, but go ahead.
Yeah, but her coochie
the original like hybrid. Oh wow. Yeah. Jesus. But yeah, I'm just looking to see us learn. But except for Boots, we the youngest team in the league, so it's gonna be some ugly games. It's gonna be some good games, but for the most part, you're just gonna be seeing these dudes learn and grow together, and that's kind of what Billy Donovan is, quote unquote, good in. That is galvanizing a young group and turning them into something. So I'm eager to see what they do.
Galvanize it, okay, Steve-O.
I know Steve-O been up in that vocabulary lately. We always knew he was a smart motherfucker, but Steve-O just it is what it is.
You gotta play stupid sometimes. The niggas don't know.
What's a concern for both you guys? And in relative, like, it's preseason, there ain't no real concerns. But like, as far as like, what are some trends you've seen with the Bulls that you want to see them start getting together in this game?
I will say my main concern is this mindset of, getting up threes. Yeah, I get it. You can't get up threes, but I want the mindset to switch that we can be one of the fastest teams in the league if we run the floor. And that's all I want. I want to see more running of the floor. I want to see us have a better synergy when it comes to us running on fast break because I've been complaining about fast breaks since Billy been here. So, it's just it's the same thing. It's only one person that cuts to the basket, and everybody follows the ball trail, and then somebody goes to the corner. Like, we're not the type of personnel to run any type of scheme where that's fast break or not to be running that way. I feel like with Io, the people that we have, Kobe coming back, even with Josh, push the pace, run the floor, get to the rim.
And then even in the half court, Steve-O, and I agree with your points, but even in the half court, the Chicago Bulls, they still need to be an inside-out team. Like, they still have to be that. Vucevic is still a pretty solid, serviceable big man down in the post. So is Zach Collins, and Zach Collins actually cuts. Like, he actually, runs.
He does, which is crazy that we could say the backup center is cutting more than some of the guards, bro. Yes. That's frustrating.
Yes. He actually runs the baselines, and that right there is going to be wonderful to see. Trey Jones and Josh Giddey and Matis to a certain degree, because they expect him to be more of a playmaker this season as well. They're going to benefit from having him out there. And Okoro actually moves without the ball pretty well also. So I'm excited to see those things. It's on top of, fast breaks and how they look in the fast breaks, because frankly, Steve, I've seen it already in the preseason. They run into the three-point lines. They're not cutting to the basket. Or that's just modern NBA, honestly. Yeah. But at the end of the day, if the Bulls can have I want to see how well they do with points in the paint, not just tonight, but to start the season. Because if they can get to the point where they at least understand that they can rely on points in the paint to keep them close in games before they start chucking threes, they'll have a lot more wins than people anticipate.
Well, the thing is, too, is that, like, the problem is, and Sivo explained it precisely, like, the problem is that on the fast break, The ball handler needs to drive. What that's going to do is that's going to open up either a passing lane, you can get, or you're going to get to the rim, or you're going to get to the free throw line. The problem is that we'll have a 2-on-1 fast break, and one will run to the corner, stop, the other one stops at the top of the key, and then they're just playing us for the 3-point shot. Like, what are we doing?
Or three of us is just jogging. Like that's another thing. Like the ball, I've seen people like the ball handler push the pace, and then everybody else is just like.
And I've also seen them completely miss the oldest nigga on the court in Vucevic being
he
open.
be hauling ass.
Vuce be the one that's actually moving, and they like, oh, good job, big fella.
It don't make any sense, bro. So it's so frustrating that they do that and they do it consistently. And again, that's something that goes to coaching. As a coach, you cannot allow your team to do that. You need to be stopping practice. You need to be cussing them out on the sidelines in the next huddle. You need to be doing a lot of stuff if that's what they're doing, because you're making it more. You're making what should be an easy possession more difficult on yourself. And the whole point of it is you're pushing the transition because it should make the offense easier for you. Like, so they got to get that together, man.
Well, hopefully Billy Donovan is looking at some of those old San Antonio Spurs teams and preaching ball movement, because you got players that can move the ball, and Josh Giddey and Trey Jones. Matas Buzelis also, because he's so tall, he can see over the defense. Move the ball. Move without the ball. There were times we were watching those big three San Antonio Spurs teams. The ball didn't even touch the floor in a lot of those instances where they were having fast breaks, doing old school, high school 3-man weaves in the NBA. Crazy work.
Chuck that mug up the court. Somebody, but that's the thing. Like, and I think it is. I gotta pay attention more to the rebounding, because it might be. That's also, man. I do see sometimes. I ain't gonna say all the times that we do start the game rebound and crash as a unit, and that can also lead to some of us not taking up. But the mindset should still be, when this ball come off the rim and you see one of us got it, go. And that's just not the mindset.
You're not wrong. And so, but that is something that should be easily fixable. Like, that shouldn't be a huge change. You need to, like, practice the whole training camp and preseason to fix. Like, that should be a pretty easy fix. It's just a mentality. That's why I go to coaching on that one. Yeah,
you already know, as Chicago sports fans, ain't nothing easily fixable.
I can fix that shit in 2 weeks.
Yeah, you say that.
I get, bro, every time we stop. Why the fuck did you just do that? Tell me why you just did that. Because that's the thing. Y'all gonna have to explain to me why y'all stupid. That's how you explain. That's how you get people to learn. You got to explain to me why you still stupid, why you 25 plus years old and you don't know how to run a goddamn 3-man weave, and they teach that to 3-year-olds.
Steve would be to have the shortest NBA coaching tenure in the history of the league. Players that get you fired.
Jim Boylan got shit on me.
You'll be players that get you fired immediately.
DJ Reese, bro, what about Noah do you see and you think Tim Duncan?
He might look like that nigga a little bit, but ain't nothing about Tim Duncan about that. He's not even a power forward. He don't even kind of play like that nigga.
Tim Duncan was literally called the big fundamental.
Ain't nothing fundamental to sound about.
What are we talking about?
What are we doing, bro?
Ain't fundamental.
Bro, hold on, DJ. What's the strand of weed you've been smoking this morning, bro? Because that's what it got to be.
No. We gonna stop. It ain't weed. That's crack.
It might not even be crack. He might have went straight to fentanyl.
Glue. You going back to glue now?
That boy said Tim Duncan? That's crazy,
I think some of y'all just see height and be like, power forward. What's the best power forward of all time?
He also shoots, but that's just modern NBA. Just because he does shoot doesn't mean that he's good at shooting.
I don't think Noah Essengate has a single post move either, bro. Like, it's all just being long. Like, that's crazy.
He got a lot of work to do. Tim Duncan was a real lottery pick.
Crazy.
Noah shouldn't have been a lottery pick. But
no, he should have been a lottery pick. But it's just it's not Tim Duncan.
What I'm saying is it's modern day lottery picks. You get what I'm saying? Like the
Tim Duncan era lottery picks ago,
different.
He would have been a late first round pick because there's so much potential. Yeah, for sure. Like, for example, if he was in the draft with Jahlil Okafor, they would have took Jahlil Okafor. That's who you could talk about Tim Duncan post moves with.
Right. Facts.
But anyway, that
Hey,
DJ
you know
Reese
what's
beat, that was
crazy? I was
hilarious.
just watching Jabari and Okafor highlight. What the fuck we doing? Why we can't have no good knees in this bitch?
I mean,
Bro,
niggas played on concrete, bro. They was out there hooping on concrete.
And fucking chips with cheese.
Yep.
that's hilarious. That's hilarious. What do y'all think about the job that Billy Donovan has done as far as getting this team to be more physical? We have been better defensively. There's still some things that we need to tighten up. I think with the added physicality, we're fouling a lot more so far in preseason. But Billy, for the second year in a row, through preseason so far, we got to see how it's going to be in the regular season. He's backed up his words as far as what he wanted to see this team change. Last year, it was the pace, it was the three-point shooting. We were towards the top of the league in both those. This year's been physicality, it's been defense. So far in preseason, I think we have like the third or fifth, between 3 and 5 as far as defense so far. So it seems like things are getting better, but what do you guys think about that?
It's true. Like, at least right now in the preseason, you got to give Billy Donovan credit. And honestly, you got to give Billy Donovan credit back to after Zach was traded. It seemed like the team finally started to listen to him. We spent years yelling at Billy Donovan, like, man, what you doing? And we can see, as much as we love when DeRozan was hitting game winners, as much as we love Zach's athleticism, we can see that they just weren't conducive to his style of coaching. Their mentality, their approach to basketball just wasn't conducive to the type of play that Billy Donovan wanted. And when he was trying to get them to do it, they were like stubborn about it. Like, nah, we want to play ISO basketball. Now you have a situation where two people who didn't really play much defense, Zach and DeRozan, and again, this is no shade toward them because they were both great Chicago Bulls players. Now you got people that's going to go out there.
Great.
Yeah, well, no, you get what I'm saying.
I'm just messing. I had to mess with you.
Zach is a right now a top 10 Chicago Bull in several categories.
Statistically, he's top 10 in just about every offensive category we have. Yeah,
and DeRozan's first season with the Bulls is arguably one of the better debut seasons of any free agent that we've seen come to the Chicago Bulls. Like he had back-to-back game winners, so on and so forth. But I digress. At the end of the day, these young players are going to play scrappy defense, and they know if they want minutes, they're going to have to do certain things. Few seasons into Donovan's career as a Chicago Bulls coach, players just had to play. They had to, it was injuries, so on and so forth. Now you have to earn your minutes. You're not just going to be put out there, whether you make a $90 million or $2 million. If you play the way I want you to play, you're going to get some minutes. So I like that.
I look at it this way. What
up, Goon?
It's only a couple times a grown-ass man gonna let you call him a bitch-ass hoe. Because that's essentially, in basketball terms, what you're doing. If you call a group of people from the coach to your president to your GM, or they're not physical enough, you're calling them some bitches. And I think you got to take it to heart. And I credit to them. If you have to sit there and basically say y'all not physical enough, y'all getting pushed around, y'all got pushed around against Miami, and that's something they needed to hear. Because that's the thing. If you're not hearing that, you're gonna keep playing and going about things thinking nothing is wrong. Now that you know it's wrong, we got the motherfuckers out of here that didn't want to heed to what you were saying. Now, this is the result that you have when everybody's bought in.
I mean, facts are facts. You nothing's wrong on that one. Yeah, I mean, Billy's done a really good job, man. I think having and you hit the nail on the head there, Steve. Like going from a team that had DeMar and Zach as the focus, right, and having veterans that were all making near $30 million, to now you have a team full of young guys who are like Josh Giddey's technically our highest paid player, $25 million, but he's 22 years old. It's a different level. Like I think we're seeing more of college coaching Billy Donovan come out, to be honest with you. Yeah. And I hope that it stays this whole season.
I mean, that's the Hall of Fame one. So shit, I hope so.
Great
point. That's the type of team that he needs, and we saw it with the previous iterations. And even Vooch, like after a few,
he bought in, yeah.
Even after a few weeks of moping after he didn't get traded at the trade deadline, toward that last 2 or 3 weeks of the season, Vooch was actually bought in. Like looked like he was motivated, especially when they decided they were going to make a push for the play-in, which I still think was stupid. But at the end of the day, Vucevic is going to be ready to play this season too, because I feel like he's the elder statesman on his team now. He knows his role as far as his voice in the locker room is concerned, because obviously when you got a DeMar DeRozan and a Zach LaVine, they're going to be the loudest ones, right? At that point. Now you got Vucevic, who can be, the big bro, the de facto basketball father figure in that locker room for all these young guys, especially Noah, and especially like even Jalen Smith, even though I think he still takes too many threes. Vooch can kind of mentor these guys. I'm looking forward to seeing what his role is going to be for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I mean, Vooch is still one of our most important players when it comes to half-court offense when the game does slow down. Like, it's him and Josh Giddey for the most part. Kobe, too, because we don't have very good half-court offense when we're forced to slow things down. So Vooch is still very important to that. Now, I think with growth of Modest and stuff like that, certain refinements, we can have to rely on that less and less. But right now, Vooch that's why when people were like, oh, Vooch serves no purpose, it's like, nah, I'm sorry, I can't get with that. Now, I can get with, I don't think Vooch is the perfect style of center for this version of the team, but as it stands right now, until we have that, Vooch is still very
you can't get no better.
He's Brad Miller from when D Rose first got into the league, and Brad Miller was a very important person on those young D Rose. Like come on now, and people. Listen, man, people were going to complain about Vooch because when he was brought here from Orlando, they was thinking he was going to play the way he was playing in Orlando. But when he was on Orlando, he was their number one option, number two option. He came over here and was the before DeRozan got here, he was the number two option behind Zach. And then DeRozan came, and he became the number 3-4 option because they were still trying to put Patrick Williams to a certain aspect as the number 3 or 4 option as well earlier in his career. So you got to think about those things when you think about the totality of Vucevic's career as a Chicago Bull. And he's still a top 7-8 center.
Is that a food stamp on your sweater? I'm just realizing that is bro. Send me the link to that. Send me the link to that. That is the culture. I love that, bro. I'm sorry. You were making a great point, but I looked up and I was like, food coupon. It's my bad, Kev. Go ahead.
Now, that's it. When you look at the totality of Vooch's career as a Chicago Bull, you got to take everything. And Chicago sports fans in general, like we don't appreciate the nuances of context, like at all. It's a lot of fans in Chicago sports, just the diaspora of the comment sections, they legitimately just take things as black and white.
Yeah, for sure.
They look at the stats like, oh, this thing only had 8 points, but you're not looking at the whole story. And then Vooch, there's a deeper story as to why he was never back to like Orlando All-Star Vooch.
But this is my thing. But this what pissing me off about this whole Vooch, because you said it a nice way. I'm getting ignorant. No, Chicago fans are fucking stupid sometimes because they don't look at the situation for what it is. For one, to become the third or fourth option, most people can't do that. We seeing Russ struggle right now trying to adjust to being the third, fourth option. We've seen Carmelo. We've seen a bevy of other number one options not be able to come in and be able to be like, all right, step back. I'll be 3-4. He was able to do that. Not only that, this what people piss me off at. That's not why they mad at Vooch. They mad because, he's not a good defender. He's not a good.
We didn't bring him here for that.
My point. He was never that. He was never that at USC. He was never that at Orlando. So the fact that you thought he was gonna come here and something amazing was gonna happen, he was gonna become fucking Mark Williams, you're stupid. You just stupid.
Yeah. I got to talk about this because Rob, and I love when I get a chance to prove Rob wrong because he's turned into the actually guy in the YouTube comment section. The way P. Will can guard guys like Giannis, this is what Giannis averages in just the not the game, in the possessions that P. Will guards him. He averaged shooting 65% from the field, 34% from three. Keep in mind, Giannis is a career like 27% 3-point shooter. He averages 11 rebounds. If you go and make that per 36, just against P. Will in the possessions that P. Will guards him, Giannis averages 29 points, 13 rebounds, 7 assists, and 75% shooting.
That's hilarious.
P. Will guarded Giannis well one game, and people have thought for years that he's the Giannis stopper. Giannis gave that boy the business every time they played.
And if I'm not mistaken, wasn't he dealing with the Achilles injuries at that time?
When he guarded him well, yes.
Yeah. So
yeah. I didn't even know Vooch got drafted by the Philadelphia 76ers.
Yeah. His first season was with the Sixers. He didn't even get to the Magic till his second year.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I remember that because they used for some reason them years they were them red jerseys hella a lot.
Yeah, there's a vague memory that comes there when you say that.
Yeah.
All right, fellas, before you get ready to wrap this up, man, because I want to take a voice break before we get into doing this 3-hour, 4-hour live call. What's your final thoughts going into the game?
Again, to keep the turnovers down. Let's see how our half-court offense looks, because let's be frank, there's been stretches where it's like they don't look too good. That play wasn't run properly, so on and so forth. I want to see and the starting lineup is out too. You got Trey Jones, Okoro, Matis, Giddey, and what's his name, Collins.
Vooch? Oh, Vooch is
I
still
like
out?
that.
Yeah, Vooch is out. You got Collins, Matis, Trey Jones, Giddey, and Okoro.
I'm not mad at that lineup. So
That's the best we gonna get right now.
we shall see. Anything, Steve-O, before we get up out of here?
No, just have fun, have a good game. Let's start off the season with a bang.
That's a fact. But yeah, make sure you guys stay in tune with us. We'll be live again for the live call, the watch party. I think everybody's going to be in on that one, so y'all stay in tune. Hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed to the channel. Y'all can follow us at Bull Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns. BullCentralPod@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and or voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We're the number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. We'll catch y'all here in about 20-ish minutes. Love you guys. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.